Hello everyone, my name is TrevCL, and today I will be taking you on a journey. A Pokemon journey with only one Pokemon used in combat throughout. Now these Pokemon solo challenges, as they've been called, have been around for quite some time. But their popularity spiked when an up-and-coming YouTuber at the time, Picaspree, uploaded a Ditto-only run in Pokemon Red and Blue. Since then, thousands of solo Pokemon challenges have been uploaded, with two of the biggest consistent uploaders being Mudrobred and JRose11, with some other big Poketubers alongside countless smaller content creators and even AlphaRed chipping in with the solo Mudkip run. This has led to hundreds of millions of views for the genre across the platform. However, one challenge I have yet to see completed is an itemless Unown challenge in its original generation, Generation 2. I've seen a team of Unown beat Pokemon Crystal. I have yet to see a single Unown run uploaded as of the making of this video. Unown is unique in that it learns only one move, Hidden Power, which can be one of 16 types and any base power up to 70 as of Generation 2. So it's no wonder a run of this magnitude is yet to be complete. But I am up to the task. So my question to you, the audience, and myself is this. Can I beat Pokemon Crystal with only one Unown and itemless? Let's find out. Before we get into the challenge, let's go over some rules. First up, I must only use one Unown in combat. The Unown I start with is the Unown I must use in every single battle throughout the playthrough. While using one Unown but with a different type for each major battle would still be challenging and definitely time consuming, it would ultimately defeat the main purpose of the challenge. I may use other Pokemon outside of battle for HM use, however. I may not use items from the item bag during combat. Held items are fine. Think of it like the item rules for a competitive online battle. Using Pokeballs to catch Pokemon is the only exception. And lastly, and this one might be the most controversial, I may not use cheats/glitches except to choose my hidden power type and power. I know for some of you this takes away from some of the legitimacy of the run, but it could take thousands of resets and even a few weeks of constant resetting to even sniff the combination, possibly even more. However, to kind of offset this, I will make sure that my speed and special DBs are set to the lowest possible value while still getting a 70 base power hidden power, which is 8 DBs each. Hopefully for some of you this will appease you. For those of you who still find it illegitimate, I completely understand. Hopefully you will still watch through just to see the theoretical if it's still possible. With the rules out of the way, let's move on to the strategy. So as I pick up Unown and start our journey, let's go back to what I said about Hidden Power. As of Generation 2, there were 16 available types. Fairy type wouldn't exist for another decade plus, and actually still to this day is not available as a Hidden Power. While Hidden Power is a normal move, Hidden Power cannot be normal type damage-wise. I'm automatically writing off any types that have immunities, as struggle strats are not ideal, at least early game. So gone is Electric, Ghost, Fighting, Poison, Ground, and even our Stab option in Psychic. After going through resistances, strengths, and key Pokemon, I also eliminate Bug, Fire, Grass, Water, Flying, Steel, Rock, Dark, and Ice. This leaves us with Dragon as the best choice in my opinion. Dragon is only weak to itself, but is also only resistant by Steel. Now I know this intro has been long, but this strategy early game is 99% of the important strategy in the entire game. A wrong choice would send us all the way back to the beginning to rethink our choice. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and finally get into the major battles and obstacles this run has to offer. First up on the list is our first rival battle with Silver. Now I had him choose Totodile for this run as I thought with its dark coverage it gets later on, as well as Feraligatr being the most well-rounded out of the Johto starters, would make for the toughest challenge for this Unown run. However, right now as a level 5 Totodile, my stronger hidden power is easily able to 3-hit KO the Totodile as it can only leer me twice, netting me my first key victory of this run. Next up is going to be the first gym leader, Falkner. He has his flying type Pokemon, a level 7 Pidgey, which I'm easily able to OHKO, and a level 9 Pidgeotto, which I'm able to 2-hit KO after some training at Sprout Tower. I turn level 14 and I grab my first gym badge of this run. I clear my way through Union Cave and defeat Team Rocket at Slowpoke Well, and then I start mowing my way down through the second gym leaders, gym trainers. Now, the second gym is bug type, and most of these bug types are going down in one hit, but I definitely know Bugsy's Scyther will be a tough customer indeed. So I have got to make sure that I'm at least level 21, or at least I want to be level 21 before I decide to attempt it. I decide to go through for my second rival fight, as I know that his Pokemon will be much easier. Ghastly goes down in one hit, Zubat goes down in 2 hits as it misses its Supersonic, and then finally is his Feraligatr, or sorry, his Croconaw, which is actually the same level as the Scyther, but it does not have Fury Cutter, which means I shouldn't have to fear it, and I easily 3-hit KO it as it can't even do a third of my health. But like I said now, I'm now stuck with the Bugsy battle. I know his Scyther is going to be tough, but first up is Metapod, which I'm easily able to one-shot as Metapod has pretty bad Spadef. Now going up next is his Scyther, he brings it right out. He outspeeds me, goes for Fury Cutter, and remember, Fury Cutter builds power, so with 3 he's easily able to take me out. So what I need to do is, at this point, I either need to grind until I can outspeed, or I can bank on Fury Cutter missing, because it is not the most accurate move. So I'm able to actually get it on my second try. I go for a third hidden power, and I'm able to take him out. Last up is his Kakuna, but just like with Metapod, Kakuna has pretty bad special defense, and I'm easily able to beat Bugsy. Only 2 tries, not too bad, but next up is Whitney, so I know I'm going to need to do a lot more grinding if I want to beat her. I make sure to grind my way all the way through Goldenrod, past Goldenrod, at getting as many battles as I can. I know I'm going to need to be at least at high enough level to try and 3-hit KO the Miltank, as I really don't want to deal with that Milk Drink plus rollout strategy. That is a very powerful strategy. I don't think I'll die in 3 rollouts like I would to 3 Fury Cutters from Scyther, but 4 rollouts could potentially still kill me, and depending on how fast the Miltank is, I might even get outsped if I'm not a high enough level and could potentially be flinched by Stomp. So I really want to make sure I'm at a high enough level. So again, I go through every trainer. Any wild Pokemon I happen to encounter, I make sure I kill them too, because I really need to get as high of a level as I can. I can't stress this enough, because I know how tough this Whitney fight can be. So after grinding through all those trainers I can, getting through the gym, I finally feel like I'm ready to take on Whitney at level 27. I go ahead and destroy the Clefairy in 2 hidden powers, as it only gets up a double slap, and now here comes my main Morty, the Miltank. I know this Miltank can be very threatening in any playthrough you do, but it goes right for rollout, and that locks it in. So I'm actually able to 3-hit KO it while it's stuck in rollout, and I grab the badge, and I'm almost halfway done through the gym challenge. Next up is going to be Morty, which is definitely going to be a tough one for sure. But first up is our third rival battle with Silver, so he's going to lead off with that Haunter, and I'm about 10 levels higher than all of his team, but everything on his team is actually able to take at least 1, if not 2 hidden powers, which makes this fight decently difficult, especially when the Magnemite lives actually 2 of them, and when the Zubat barely lives 1 is able to get up a Confuse Ray, but I'm still able to win with about half my health left. Now, I still don't feel like I'm anywhere close to challenging Morty, so I want to make sure that I get some more levels, so I go through all of the Kimono girls in Ecruteak City as well. So I easily destroy them, and I get out of there at about level 31 or so. And I challenge all the gym trainers as well in Morty's gym. Again, just trying to get up to as high of a level as I can, because the higher level I am against Morty, the better chance I have of winning, obviously. I really want to be able to outspeed that Gengar, which will be tough, as Gengar is way faster unknown. So again, I'm just going to keep on grinding. I go all the way up to Olivine City, all the way through his gym. Again, like I said with the Kimono girls and Silver, I'm trying to get as many of the battles as I can. My goal is to be level 35, and we'll see from there where that gets me. So I end up going with my first battle with him. First Ghastly is no problem, is instantly O-code. The Haunter barely lives and is able to get off a curse, and I do outspeed the Gengar, but as it lives with just 1 HP, it's able to finish me off with the Shadow Ball. So, you know, that was really close, alright, very, very close, but I've got to make sure that go for another try, because I think I can do it at level 35. So I, again, OHKO the Ghastly, I'm actually able to OHKO the Haunter, and once again, I just barely miss out on 2-hit KOing the Gengar. It's maybe a roll. If I was one level higher, I could probably guarantee to KO it. But I think I can beat it at a level 35. So I'm going to keep trying at level 35. Again, I OHKO'd the Ghastly. Haunter seems to be a roll in my favor, I would assume, because that's 2 out of 3 times I've knocked it out. Now, he actually hits his Hypnosis first try here, which you would think would be a death sentence for me, but I'm actually able to get pretty lucky here. I think his AI is programmed to only go for Dream Eater when I'm asleep, and I'm able to actually take out the Gengar, and I have enough HP to take out the Haunter, and I'm actually able to beat Morty on my 3rd try, which at level 35 I was not expecting to do. So I'm pretty excited about that. That makes me very happy where I'm at right now. And I'm actually going to go straight to Chuck after clearing out a little bit of the Lighthouse and some of the trainers on the way to Cianwood, just because he is the fighting type gym leader. So I feel pretty confident that while I don't have a super effective move for him as a psychic type Pokemon, I do resist his fighting type moves, and I am about 10 levels stronger than his ace Poliwrath. So I'm feeling pretty confident, even if he's able to hit a Dynamic Punch. But as he goes for Surfs, which even not resisted, those Surfs are doing about 30 damage. So I'm easily able to take out Chuck. Like I said, I thought I would be able to. I probably could have taken him out at level 35 right after I beat Morty. So I'm able to help out Jasmine here, get the Secret Potion. And next up is Jasmine. And before, where I have said that gym leaders I thought would be hard ended up being easy, this is not one of those cases. So I am actually going to attempt to fight Jasmine at pretty much right after Chuck. I'm not seriously expecting to win this battle. I'm just kind of trying to scout to see, you know, how am I doing? Like, how do I think I'm gonna stack up against her? So this first try, I'm level 43, go into it. Magnemite T-Waves me right away, as I can't even 2-hit KO. So that's a very bad start. And I get crit by the Thunderbolt, which is does a lot of damage. I'm actually think I'm in almost in range of another Thunderbolt, as my hidden power doesn't even come close to a KO. Not that it matters, because I got outsped anyway, so I know I'm going to have to do a lot of grinding. I can't even make it to the Steelix. I just knew from that one try I was not going to be able to make it to beat the Steelix if I can't even beat the 2 Magnemites. So I decided to do every other story option I can, so I beat the Red Gyarados, although not as comfortably as I thought I would. Then I go through the Rocket Hideout, and I beat up on the Executive here. Again, nothing's really a challenge right now, because everything's half my level, except for Jasmine. Jasmine is the one kicker in this challenge right now, because not necessarily because of her level, because while 35 is a high level for this point, it's not anything crazy. It's mainly the fact that Steelix has a 100 base power steel type stab move that lowers my defense, and it resists my hidden power dragon, and has decent HP and Spadef. Not the best, but far from the worst. So I'm again going to actually go and challenge Price as well, because he is actually, as the 7th gym leader, you'd think he'd be harder, or at least a higher level. No, he's actually 4 levels lower, I believe, than Jasmine. Now, we'll see in a second when his Piloswine comes out. But yeah, I'm able to easily 3-hit KO the Dewgong. He goes into Piloswine, and Piloswine is actually going to die to 2 hidden powers, as it only can get off a Fury attack. So at this point, I'm basically stuck at Jasmine. I've done everything I can. I can grind up on wild Pokemon, but otherwise, it's basically just throwing myself at Jasmine over and over again. So I'm going to go give it another try against her. This time, I believe I am at level 50 here, and I'm actually able to 2-hit KO the Magnemites. I actually dodged a T-Wave there. If you didn't know, in Gen 1 and Gen 2, status moves actually had a built-in chance to miss in single player. But as you can see, that Steelix is just Iron Tailing me. I was able to get past the Magnemites pretty easy this time, because I'm able to 2-hit KO them, or with the crit, I can OHKO them. But the problem is if I get T-Waved, they're going to confuse me, and if I get paralyzed, I'm going to be outsped by the Steelix, and it's just not a very good time at all. Like, this is not fun right here. So, like I said before, where I would think a gym leader would be challenging and they would actually be pretty easy, this is not one of those cases. I'm just losing over and over again, and I'm getting paralyzed, I'm getting confused. It's not a good time. So I think I put on the Bitterberry there, which actually prevents confusion. You'll see in a little bit, I actually tried to change up my strategy, but I'll get to that in a second. So she's going to go into her Magnemite again. Again, it's basically, if I can avoid getting paired by Magnemites, I'd have to dodge 2 T-Waves in a row, but it is possible, or I'd have to crit one of them. So again, I'm just trying over and over. It basically, if I get paired, it's not over. but my chances of winning are very slim. And I get crit there, I get fully parried, so I actually am going to change up my strategy a little bit. As you can see, I'm trading a Krabby for a Voltorb, and why I'm doing that is the Voltorb is actually holding a Paralyzed Cure Berry. Now, I don't know if I had the Paralyzed Cure Berry from earlier in the playthrough, but I have it now, so this was the easiest way. So I'm going to go back in there with the Paralyzed Cure Berry, and even with that, I still have to either crit one of the Magnemites, or I've got to avoid the T-Wave to make sure that I can not get paralyzed, because I'm good for one T-Wave, but I'm not good for if I get double T-Waved. I still get hit. So I just basically have to rely on missing a T-Wave right there. So yeah, if I can just either crit one of the Magnemites, or one of the Magnemites miss their T-Wave, again, I can go into the final battle pretty safe with Steelix. Like, it's not a guaranteed win, as you can see. Even if I go in full health against the Steelix, it can still crit me, it can hit every Iron Tail, it can drop my defense. But at the very least, if I go into the Steelix fight at full health, that gives me my best chance. Full health and no paralysis, no confusion. So, again, it's not too hard. I mean, I think it's like a 20 or 25% chance the Magnemite misses its T-Wave, and in combination with like a 6% crit chance, I've got like a 30% chance of making it to the Steelix unscathed. Sometimes it'll even go for T-Bolt. So as you can see, I'm getting close. The only problem is Jasmine has that Hyper Potion. If it wasn't for that Hyper Potion, I would have won already. But I think finally, let me double check. I think this is finally the attempt where everything comes together, and it actually comes together really well. Okay, so right here, I crit the Magnemite. So obviously, if I can crit the first Magnemite or avoid the first Magnemite, that saves me a lot right there. So I'm able to use the Paralyzed Cure Berry to avoid T-Wave from the second Magnemite. And then finally, I make it into the Steelix fight full health. Now again, this is far from a guarantee, because I've made it in there full health before. But as you can see, she misses the first Iron Tail, gets an Iron Defense or a Defense drop on the second one, but I finally get the luck just where I need it. I get the crit right in time. If I had not crit there, I probably would have lost that attempt, to be honest, because she would have Hyper Potioned up. I would have been dead to 2 more Iron Tails. So honestly, that crit right there saved that attempt, and probably saved me at least another 5 or 10 attempts. I think I would have just kept on trying that level 50, just because grinding takes so long now. All the wild Pokemon around here are like level 20 or something at most. So I would have just kept trying, and I would have eventually gotten it, but that saves me so much time. I'm pretty sure that was, you guys can count it through because I put everything in there, all the attempts, but I'm pretty sure that was at least double digits, when the rest of the gym trainers combined took me a bonus 3 tries. So at this point, honestly, the rest of the Johto League up to the Elite Four is kind of a joke. I mean, this was the only hard fight before the 8th gym leader, Claire, mainly because he had a Houndoom, which didn't die, and it had Bite, which did a decent amount of damage, but every other fight in the Golden Tower section of the story was very easy. 1 shots, 2 shots the entire time. And Claire's gym, because I have a super effective 70 base power move and I'm 20 levels higher, I literally one-shot everything in her gym except for her Kingdra, which is coming up. So again, all the trainers, Seadras, Horseys, Dratinis, Dragonairs, they all died. All of Claire's Dragonairs die here in 1 hit. Like I said, at this point, the game is pretty easy. Up until we get to Elite Four, which we will talk about in a little bit. So last up is going to be her Kingdra, which is actually able to barely survive. Again, if I would have been like a level or 2 higher, I probably would have been able to kill it. But again, it can't do very much damage. You saw that Surf baby barely did a quarter. So I'm able to, after she heals up, 2-hit KO with the Hidden Power. And like I said, rest of the Johto League, incredibly easy up until the Elite Four. So I'm actually going to go into something here. So, you might notice that I'm not in Dragon Den, I'm actually in Mount Mortar, I believe it's called. And the reason why I'm doing this is, you may know that there's a item called the Dragon Fang, which is in Dragon Den. But it doesn't actually boost dragon attacks in Gen 2. There's actually a glitch. But you know what does boost dragon attacks in Gen 2? Dragon Scale. And before you ask, yes, Hidden Power, even though it is technically a normal type move, the Hidden Power you use is boosted by items. So if I use the Pink Bow, it wouldn't affect Hidden Power, but the Dragon Scale will. And again, the reason why I use Dragon Scale, like I said, is that for some reason, I don't know what they did when they were programmed, they switched the properties. So Dragon Fang is literally useless in this game. And TrevCL not only evolves Seadra and Kingdra, but it also boosts Dragon-type moves, which again includes my Hidden Power Dragon. So that's why I just wanted to kind of point that out for you guys. So that's why I went through this little side section, and now I finally have a boosting item for my Hidden Power Dragon. Now before we get to the Elite Four, we actually do have one kind of challenge in battle, and that's because he's got a Steel type. Basically the only things at this point so far that have stopped Unown have been Steel types. This Golbat actually barely lives and is able to hit me with a bite, but like I said, Magneton here is able to T-Wave me, and like I said, T-Waving magnets are Unown's only issue so far this run, as I'm able to actually almost beat him this first time. I get all the way back to his last Pokemon, his Feraligatr, but between some unfortunate luck and Future Sight plus Slash, I am unfortunately defeated the first time. However, I'm going to go through it again, and this time I get much better luck, and I am actually able to pretty easily clear it this time. So like I said, Sneasel is a one-hit KO leading off. Next up is going to be the Golbat, which again, I don't actually one-hit KO. It's a range that I'm just barely missing out on. But he does Confuse Ray, and I do hit myself in Confusion. I'm thinking that this is another potentially lost run, but actually I am able to break through Confusion there, and then I snap out of Confusion there, as he does hit another T-Wave, but as you can see this time, I'm going to get much luckier with my paralysis luck, my bad. And again, he's going to confuse me again, but my luck is pretty insane this battle. I only hit myself once, I snapped out of Confusion right away. Even when I'm paralyzed confused, I'm not hitting myself in Confusion or getting paralyzed. And then he brings out Feraligatr, and I instantly snap out of Confusion again, as he crits me with Slash, and he's actually going to crit me with Slash again. However, it does not matter, I get the luck I needed, and I'm able to take out my rival, the final rival battle before the Elite Four. So, we are finally getting ready for the Elite Four. My Unown is level 62, and let's go ahead and head into the first battle of the Johto Elite Four. And that first battle is going to be against the Psychic-type trainer Will. Now, this is actually, you're seeing my second attempt against him. In my first attempt, I went in with TrevCL, was not able to kill the first Atu, and without the Bitter Berry, I stayed confused for longer, and I got really unlucky with Confusion. So I went in with the Bitter Berry the second time, and that allows me to only get confused once instead of potentially twice, and my luck here with Confusion is a lot better. I basically hit myself every time in Confusion last battle, but this time I'm getting much luckier. I'm actually able to snap out of Confusion very early, as well as not really hitting myself at all. And because Unown is 20 level higher, I'm able to easily 2-hit KO everything, as well as avoiding taking that much damage from any single Pokemon. The main thing is that Unown is weak, so at least compared to a lot of the Pokemon right now, so I'm not able to OHKO much, if anything, but I am able to do a lot of damage and not take much in return. Next up is going to be the Poison-type trainer Koga, the former gym leader back in Kanto. So I'm able to easily take out Arceus. Luckily, that double team did not matter, and we run into the dreaded Steel type, but luckily Fortress is a little bit frailer than Steelix was, and I have a much higher level gap here as well. So Fortress goes down in 3 hidden powers, as this Muck is going to annoyingly go for Minimize and then Toxic, but I do have the Poison Cure parry. Again, I was prepared for this. This one I was immediately prepared for. This was my first try. I do get double Toxic'd, but that's fine, because at this point all he has is a double team in Crobat, which actually still does outspeed me, but I get pretty lucky, in fact, that I do not miss either hidden power, and my second hidden power gets a higher roll. So next up is going to be Bruno, the fighting type trainer. So right away he's just going for a dig with his Hitmontop, 2-hit KO with hidden power, not too bad at all. Next up is going to be the Onix, and this is, I think, maybe the one thing that I can OHKO in the entire Elite Four right now. So next up is going to be that Machamp, and Machamp actually gives me a little bit of a rough time, despite him being about 15 to 20 levels lower, and him being the fighting type trainer. I'm not able to 2-hit KO the Machamp, and Rock Slide is doing quite a bit of damage, so he's actually giving me a lot tougher of a time than I thought he would, as he crits me with that HJK, and I'm down to 23 health. Last up is his Hitmonchan, and his Fire Punch only does 10 damage because Fire Punch was special, and Hitmonchan had a bad special attack, as we're able to beat Bruno. And we're going to hit our first stopgap in Elite Four, the final Elite Four member, Karen. Now, she was the dark type trainer, so I was kind of expecting this, but this Umbreon is going to be an absolute nuisance. With Sand Attack just lowering my accuracy, and then it's mainly the lower type accuracy, because if I could hit every hidden power, I think I'd be fine to win. But at -1 accuracy here, you can see I miss, and Crunch is able to actually kill me from half. So that was my first loss, or sorry, my second loss in Elite Four, but my first loss since Will. And that one, as you can see, I kind of start resetting here, just hoping to not get a Sand Attack. But it's Sand Attacking me every time, so I basically, at this point, I do get a crit, so I stick with this one, but funny enough, I end up missing my hidden power. I still decide to stick with this one just because, you know, I might as well. I'm already 1 hidden power away from killing the Umbreon. So next up is the Murkrow, and I'm just going to hidden power that all the way down. Murkrow is, again, like one of 2 things I can OHKO with hidden power right now in the Elite Four, as because I don't miss my hidden power, I'm able to 2-hit KO the Houndoom, and I'm at a good amount of health for the last 2 mons. But unfortunately, I'm actually not going to be able to OHKO the Gengar here. I just barely, or I don't barely miss out, I actually miss out by quite a bit, as it's able to Curse, and if Vileplume either attacks or hits a Stun Spore, I am done. It'll outspeed me the next turn, or I'll be dead to Curse. But they do go for Stun Spore, they miss, and I'm able to take out Karen and head on to Lance the Champion. And while Karen was a bit of a stopgap, mainly because of that Umbreon being super annoying, Lance is pretty much going to end our current run of the Elite Four. I mean, I'm going to give it some tries here at level 64, but the Gyarados doesn't die to 2 hidden powers, even with the Dragon Scale. Dragonites aren't dying to a single hidden power, and if they get off a T-Wave, it's over. It's not like we're with Jasmine, where I could potentially have one even if I was paralyzed. It's pretty much over, because even not paralyzed, so I'm going to put a paralyzed Cure Berry here, and I'm going to try a similar strategy to what I had against Jasmine. I'm going to try and dodge one, or T-Wave, or crit one hidden power, and then live through the other Thunder Wave with the Poison, or Paralysis Cure Berry. But as you can see, even when I do make it healthily, the Aerodactyl, even 18 levels out lower than me, it's outspeeding me, and it gets off a major damage, and I can't even get to the last Dragonite. You're going to see I give it one more try, I believe, at this level, before I decide that, you know, at this point, just I'm going to have to grind up a little bit. So, again, this is, I think, going to be my last try on this attempt. This is my best attempt so far, but it kind of just goes the same way the last attempt did. It just looked a little bit better on paper. I'm able to 3-hit KO the Gyarados as it gets a rain boosted Surf off on me for quite a bit of damage. Next up is going to be the Dragonite. Again, I'm going to hidden power as he misses the T-Wave, which again is, I have to basically bank on a T-Wave miss or me critting one of these Dragonites. Otherwise, I can't, it's already almost impossible, even not paralyzed, but if I do get paralyzed, it's definitely impossible. Like I said before, the Aerodactyl is going to outspeed me with an Ancient Power, but because I do have a little bit more HP, I'm thinking that I could at least get past the Charizard, and then I could potentially crit the Dragonite. I even get the level up there, but even at 49 health, I just can't live. So I'm going to have to go do some grinding. I decide to grind until I'm level 70, enter in the Elite Four, and from there, I go with the Dragon Skill right away. As you can see, I start hitting myself in confusion, but I'm basically OHKOing, or getting very close to OHKOing, a lot of stuff that I wasn't even very close to before. I am 7 levels higher than I was last time I went through this section of Elite Four. So as you can see, this second run through of the Elite Four, I'm going to have a much easier time going through them. Koga's up next. I just hidden power OHKO to Ariados. I'm going to not be able to 2-hit KO the Fortress, just barely. I actually reset right there because I think he was about to go for self-destruct and kill me. So I go here again as I get the 2-hit KO this time. And then even Muck is 2-hit KO this time. Crobat is not an OHKO, but it's a 2-hit KO. Anything that wasn't a 2-hit KO before is now a 2-hit KO. Anything that was barely missing out on an OHKO is now easily OHKOing. So, like, you know, for example, when we get to the Machamp gave me a lot of problems last time. This time, it barely does anything to me. And before I finished with 13 HP against Bruno, here I'm going to finish with 126 HP against Bruno. So next up is Karen, and Karen is actually still going to give me some troubles. I don't know if I put any of my failed attempts in here. I think I just put the successful one, but I still failed a couple times against Karen. But overall, it was a much easier fight. And here's the one where we were really waiting for, the second rematch with Lance. And this time, with the Dragon Scale, I'm able to 2-hit KO the Gyarados, take it out very easily. Dragonite, this is the main thing. I need to OHKO. I'm able to OHKO the Dragonite. Second Dragonite, able to OHKO it. That's why, with the training and the Dragon Scale, I am now able to OHKO the Dragonites. I'm able to outspeed the Aerodactyl, so it's going to get a lot less damage off. As you can see, I've got exponentially more HP against the Charizard, and for good measure, I even crit. And last up is this Dragonite, which, surprisingly, I wasn't even trying to go for this. I'm able to OHKO with a hidden power. I don't know if that was a range, but I was surprised. I thought I would barely be able to take out the level 47 Dragonite. I didn't realize I would be able to take out the level 50 as well. And we have officially cleared the Johto section of Pokemon Crystal with only an unknown and no items used in battle. Now, I'm not going to say that this was super impressive. I'm not even going to say the challenge is over yet. Obviously, there's the post-game, the Kanto. I don't even consider this challenge over. I know some challengers will consider it over here, but I consider Red the final challenge, because obviously I could just go through and grind to level 100 and easily beat all of Johto. Even at level 100, who knows if I'm going to be able to beat Red. So what I'm going to do is, as usual, people know that Kanto is pretty easy overall except for Blue. So I'm going to do a little bit of a different take. Instead of just skipping out over Kanto and going straight to Red, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a montage through all the gym leaders up to Blue, and I'll see you guys at Red. Enjoy the montage. And we've done it. We've collected all 16 badges in the game. Johto badges, Kanto badges, we've got all of them. Now, there's one true final test. And this is the one I knew that, honestly, what might be impossible. I knew going into this that the main fight, this battle, or this challenge, would be Red. Because theoretically, I could get to level 100 and beat everybody else very easily. Even Blue at the end, and I wasn't even needed to be level 100. Level 80 or so was about as good enough to take him down. But Red, he's different. His highest level Pokemon, Pikachu, level 81. His lowest level Pokemon, a level 73 Espeon. If I'm going to want to do this, I have a couple different strategies. First up, I've got Leftovers. Now, Leftovers are going to heal me about 6% every turn. Very useful, especially when I'm going to have to take a lot of hits. Second up, my idea is just to keep using the Dragon Scale that I've been using. I don't get any recovery, but I might be able to turn some OHKO or some 3-hit KOs into 2-hit KOs, or some 4-hit KOs into 3-hit KOs. And finally, there's actually this item called the Berserk Gene, which only exists in Gen 2, which gives you +2 attack, but also confuses you. At the time, I thought it confused you, and then for a little while, and then you could break out. But as you'll see, it actually last for 255 turns. But we're going to go through all those options at some point. But what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to kind of get out a little bit of a scouting battle against Red at level 90. Now, I don't anticipate being able to beat him at all unless I'm at least level 100. And by at least, I mean I have to be level 100. There is no at least. I don't think I have any shot to beat him under level 100. And as you can see, at level 90, I can't even kill the Pikachu. So, as you can see, also at level 90, I can't 2-hit kill the Espeon. So I'm thinking once I'm level 100, I'm going in with I believe I have the leftovers here, I do. So I try the leftover strat first. And without the Dragon Scale or being level 100, I'm not able to 2-hit kill the Espeon or OHKO the Pikachu. So I'm going to go in at level 94 now. This is my next attempt here, and I believe I think I've got the leftovers. Yeah, I have the leftovers again, but even with 4 levels higher, I'm not able to 2-hit KO. If I had a Dragon Scale, I would have been able to, but I still cannot 2-hit KO unless I'm level 100 if I want to try the leftover strategy. And here is the main antagonist of this. You kind of have seen it a few times before, but Snorlax. It is an absolute special tank, even being now 25 levels lower than me, as I'm actually finally able to 2-hit KO the Espeon and OHKO the Pikachu at level 100 and trying the Dragon Scale strat. But as you can see, even with Dragon Scale, I get very close. But even without any full restores or rest, I'm not able to take down the Snorlax. That's the thing about Red. Even if his Snorlax doesn't go for rest, he can still go for a full restore if need be. So the Snorlax, between taking even from my maximum power, Dragon Scale boosted, level 100 hidden power, is not even a 5-hit KO, or is not even a 4-hit KO, maybe not even a 5-hit KO. And he also has Amnesia, not just rest, not just full restores, but Amnesia, which basically turns 4 or 5-hit KO Dragon, hidden power Dragon into like a 10-hit KO after each one. By the end, I'm not even doing, 5 or 10% of his health. So basically, what it's come down to is there is no legitimate strategy where I can win. As you can see, I'm going to, I tried the Berserk Gene struggle strat here, and here's where I find out, hey, you never break out of confusion, by the way. So I quickly abandoned that because, even because his Espeon can get up a Reflect if it sees that I'm using physical moves. And even +2 without the Reflect isn't 2-hit KO in Snorlax, and I'm taking way too much damage in return. So at this point, my only chance is to basically hope I can crit the Snorlax at just the right turn. I might even need back-to-back crits, especially if he gets Amnesias up. It's basically my only chance of winning. There's no legitimate strategy that isn't just crit the Snorlax that will help me win. I mean, as you can see, I'm getting close to the Snorlax. But you gotta remember, this is his 3rd Pokemon. I need to not get paralyzed by the Body Slam. I need to not be at too low of a health, which means even with the Dragon Scale, which has honestly been doing more damage-wise and getting me the closest, it's just I'm not living with enough health to be able to take on his last 3 Mons, which are all Kanto starters, the Venusaur, the Charizard, and the Blastoise. So it's not like they're Pokemon like Pikachu. No, those are some of the stronger Pokemon around at this time. So, I mean, as you can see, I'm just doing the Snorlax section here because, as you've seen a 1,000 times already, the Pikachu and the Espeon are easy, very easy, barely take any damage between them. But the Snorlax, I get really close. I'm so close to beating it there, but even then I was just at too low health. So I basically, the only way I can win is if I just get a lucky crit at a lucky time, or maybe I get back-to-back crits. That's about the only way. But as you can see, I think this is the time. This is my 20th try, which actually isn't too much, surprisingly. But on my 20th try, I actually finally get something together. So, as always, I killed the Pikachu easily, I killed the Espeon easily. No problem there. I'm going into the Snorlax fight with full health. It starts out like any other Snorlax fight. I go for hidden power to about 20% as he gets up in Amnesia. Goes for Body Slam. Luckily does not paralyze me. And it's looking like another reset right here, except right here is where I get the critical hit. And it must have just done barely enough, because he was at like 45%, maybe even closer to 50. I must have gotten a max roll crit, or a very high roll crit. But it's still not over. I'm at a very good amount of health. I have a very legitimate chance of beating Red. But to my horror, I can't 2-hit KO the Charizard, as his flamethrower is doing almost 100 health. So unless I get another crit, I'm not going to win. But I do get that other crit, and now it's down to Blastoise and Venusaur, the last 2 Pokemon. I'm really thinking I can do it. Blastoise isn't that strong. It's going for a Surf. It's going to do quite a bit, but after leftovers, I'm getting quite a bit of health back. I'm able to 3-hit KO the Blastoise, luckily, as again, his Surf brings me down to 46, but the leftovers are coming in clutch. Again, Dragon Scale might have been able to 2-hit KO Zard, but I would not have had the health potentially to live some of these hits as well. So, it all comes down to this. I'm going to go for the Hidden Power against Venusaur. It's not a 2-hit KO. He's charging Solar Beam, the strongest grass move in the game at this point. Can I live? Can I crit? I don't get the crit. He goes for Solar Beam. Down goes my health. I live on 6. I live on 6. And I take out the Venusaur. And I've won the challenge. I have beaten Red in Pokemon Crystal with 1 unknown and itemless. I just can't believe that it happened. Especially 20 tries. I thought at some point, you know, there was a couple runs where I got close. I thought at some point I was going to be able to beat him. I just didn't think it would be 20 tries. I mean, I know you think 20 tries is a lot, and it is a lot. You know, it's about, I had about an hour and a half of footage just on the Red battle alone. But at the same time, 20 tries on what I thought could have been potentially an impossible challenge at the very end is insane. I mean, like I said, about an hour and a half of footage, probably, if I hadn't used a little bit of the speed up button, which, by the way, I didn't use too much of speed up. I don't think I used it at all before the Elite Four, and I think I only pretty much used it to get to level 100 and on some of the Red fights, just to speed them along. Just again, because I thought it could potentially take me hundreds of tries to get the luck needed. I mean, realistically, if you think about it, I needed not just a crit against the Snorlax, I needed just the right timing for the crit, and then I needed to crit one of the Venusaur, the Blastoise, or the Charizard, and I got that. So I got the 2 crits I needed just in the right times, and it worked out. So I was able to beat Red, and I was able to answer the question, yes, it is possible in an ideal scenario to beat Pokemon Crystal all the way to Red, beating Red with a single unknown and no items used in battle. Now, I will say that, again, to those of you who thought that it wasn't quite as legitimate because I didn't get that unknown myself through changing the unknown's means, I totally understand. But this was more of a theoretical video. Could you, if you got the best unknown, it wasn't even technically the best unknown you could get. I could have potentially just made it the best unknown. But, you know, in a more ideal situation, could you beat it with a unknown? And I answer the question, yes. Maybe one day I'll do this run again, where I try to reset for my, you know, an imperfect unknown, or not quite as a good unknown. Just, you know, getting the 70 base power or the Hidden Power Dragon, one of those two. But, you know, for now, I'm going to say that theoretically, you can beat Pokemon Crystal, again, beating Red, with an unknown. So, I know this video has gone on for a very, very long time, so I'm going to go ahead and end it off. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. You know, your support, depending on how much support this video gets, is not going to change whether I'm going to keep uploading these. I'm going to try to at least get one up every, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. But if I see this video is getting a ton of support, a ton of likes, a ton of views, then that will probably motivate me to upload these a little sooner, a little closer together. So again, I'm still going to upload these no matter how, if this gets 50 views, I'll still upload one in about 4 to 6 weeks. But if it gets, you know, 100 views, 200 views, 300 views, whatever, you know, a couple here and there, likes here and there, that won't really change whether I do this or not. But if it's getting, you know, more support than what I would have thought, then I will definitely make sure to pay back that support with faster content. So, like I said, if you guys do want to see more of this content faster, I will say that you should share it with your friend, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, just to let me know that you guys enjoy this. That way, I know to push this out faster than every 4 to 6 weeks. So, otherwise, I've got one last thing. There was a bit of an Easter egg I left in this video. So, for those of you who have stuck around this whole time, alright, I want you to check out the Easter egg, see if you can find it, put it in the comments what the Easter egg was, I'll say the first 3 to 4 people to get it right, I will, heart your comment, and then I'll give you a shout out in the next video again. So if you can point out specifically what the one Easter egg is, and I'll give you a pretty big hint, it has something to do with the title. It's not in the title itself, but if you take a look at that question, then I think you might understand what I mean. But otherwise, guys, like I said, I appreciate the support so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.